What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Strength Solutions Podcast. We're on Apple and Spotify. You can rate and review us. We're also on YouTube. Leave a comment down below, and I'm going to stop right here for this banging music. Subscribe. Then, if you're looking for a website, it's strengthsolutionspodcast.com. strengthsolutionspodcast@gmail.com for future email questions, for fitness questions. Strength Solutions Podcast for Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. I'm Strength Solutions Edwin.
I'm Strength Solutions Nathaniel.
Okay, dude, I had a moment yesterday. And I was like, this needs to go viral. And if the fitness space or health space has made you feel like there's something wrong with you, just know there's nothing wrong with you.
That's a good one.
And we can do a better job in the fitness and health space of conveying a message, being more nuanced. And I really want to talk about that more today.
Yeah. I feel like, we don't talk about it as often, but there is a lot of, I guess, marketing or, videos and things like that. And a lot of the topics are always, if you got this problem, if you're wrong with this, if you have this type of pain, or if you have, I don't want to say it's like fear mongering type thing, but
it's fear mongering.
But it is though, in a sense where it's like everything is made to make you feel like I have to fix something. So you have to either buy into their social media page or actually buy a product or whatever it is, right? And find the answer to your problem.
And this also leads to people believing that there is a problem, and then they create the problem because they're so stressed out about this problem.
Yeah.
And it just leads to like this downward like down the hill.
Yeah.
And ends up being worse and worse and worse. And I think you sent me this, or I sent it to you, I can't remember, but the twisted deadlift. Stiff leg deadlift. Today they'd be like, oh, this move is so horrible for you. You should never do it. Yet strongmen, bodybuilders back in the day used to do this move all the time with the barbell. And we can learn a lot from the past. And I think that's a big issue is we think we know more today than we did back then. In reality, we're just using science to back up whatever we want.
Yeah, because you can always kind of manipulate things to match your narrative, And I think the person that you're talking about, I think it's Strongman Archives is the name of the guy who does those types of lifts. And I showed him to you because I knew that you would appreciate him. And it's also cool because, like you said, it's kind of looking back into the past and being like, people did these lifts pretty often, these were like the lifts that were either the event or the way they trained or whatever. And you can tell a lot and be like, wow, people had more mobility back then, or, cause some of the lifts you look at now and you're like, what the fuck? Like, that's insane. I can't remember the name of one of the squats. But like you essentially lift it up off the ground behind you, put it onto your back, like bounce it up to your shoulders and then do a squat after that. Yeah. And like you said, if you showed somebody that today, they'd be like, look at this idiot.
But think about how real that is in real life.
Yeah. Like it's like a very useful technique to be able to do, or put yourselves in those sort of compromised positions. And like you said, you learn from that. Right. And, I'm sure even now I could be like, oh, well, the twisted deadlift has this benefit and blah, blah, blah. And this, and like make it seem like it's the best deadlift in the world and everybody needs to be doing it. And if you're not doing it, then you're dumb.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
So this leads to like, you got to really look at the fitness and health space. There's nothing wrong with you first. And if you do have a real issue, there is an answer, but there's still nothing wrong with you.
Yeah. There's
just you figuring out your journey in fitness and health.
Yeah.
Just remember, it's not this like straight line up. It'll have ups and downs. You're never going to be perfect. And this is for a majority of people. A majority of people are not going to sit there and make fitness their priority, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the challenges that each of us face. I was talking to one of my clients today and, she's been consistent in the gym.
Well, you talk to people?
Yeah, I do.
You don't just say, you lift over there.
You deadlift now.
Me hungry, want food.
We were talking about her progress and things like that, and she's been super consistent and really doing a lot of stuff, but just the time of the year and things like that, people are getting married and holidays and stuff, and she was kind of expressing to me that she was sort of frustrated, I guess, with the fact that she can't be super dialed in and focused, on everything that she wants to do in these goals and stuff like that. And I was like, look, been really consistent in the gym. Overall, you've, been a high percentage of doing what you should nutritionally. Yeah, and I was like, it's just life. You got surprise weddings and trips and stuff like that that's going to come up, and it's never going to be perfect. You're never going to have a perfect year, and striving for that. When you kind of sit down and think about it, it's a little silly, and you're going to end up just stressing yourself out and being pissed off for no reason.
A lot of these influencers are single, young people.
It's their job.
It's their job. So they're creating like 5 videos a day. All they're doing is working out. They're telling you to do this mobility exercise, or they're a physical therapist. And they see some clients, but they also just do these videos on the side, and they're always doing their physical therapy movements. And like, there's that like rope guy. Have you seen that?
I don't think I've seen the rope guy.
Yeah, he's like, you could do this rope stuff. And I'm like, they're pretty cool, right?
Does he talk like that too?
He does talk like that, but he does like these rope things, their work and all that stuff. This is where training's so hard.
Like with the battle rope?
No, with the jump rope, like a weighted jump rope.
Oh no, I've definitely not seen that.
Or like a rope.
Okay,
I'll send one. Yeah. Hey, you want to do this rope thing?
So, whoa, are you the rope guy?
I'm the rope guy. But you got to figure out what works for you, what you need, and it's really hard. This is where like hiring a trainer in this new year can make a huge difference for you. A good trainer, right?
Sure.
And then understanding that each thing has validity, as much as we talk shit about the 90-90 guy or 90 degrees guy, that he has some validity, right? Like there's some valid stuff there that he does, but it's not for everybody. It's what I need it for. How do I create the stimulus? I literally had a conversation today with a client, had hip pain for the longest time, can get in a lot of movement because she did yoga and stuff like that. But I was like, this is the difference. Today, you're starting to load your body properly. And she's like, yeah, I feel more controlled in my squat. I feel more controlled in this. I was like, that's what's going to take pain away. But I could be a guy who'd be like, oh, let me just do this move and get you opened up your hips, and this is going to help you with your hip pain. Well, in your case, it would never have worked.
You made a good point about the 90-degree guy, because I feel like we could argue both ends for him, right? Where, like you said, some of it is really valid, right? Like maybe somebody who's returning from a surgery or an injury or something like that needs a lot of that 90-degree stuff, because maybe they can build strength through that range first, right? And then they can move on to the rest of it. And for someone else who can move full range of motion, well, maybe some of it wouldn't be as optimal for them. And just looking at a singular person and being able to argue both ends of it, right? It just shows that there's so many like specific things. And then also with him too, I think that he's a good example of someone who tries to kind of I don't know, I don't want to say science. Yeah, use the science to back it up and sort of right, yeah.
Or I use it's funny because the same doctor that showed, remember the video I sent? That doctor who said, oh, you shouldn't go past the 90 degrees. And he's like, yeah. Same doctor. This guy's like, I teach my clients to go past 90 degrees. And this doctor's lying to you.
Ridiculous, dude. And it's like with him, I feel like he's one of those people that kind of preys on the example of like, oh, if you do this, or if your knees are hurting, it's because you do this. So you need to do what I'm saying instead, And so I don't know. I don't like it.
Or like when Brett Contreras is not calling out, but like commenting on Dana Lane Bailey's.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Right? I don't keep it with all these fitness influencers.
I know there's a lot.
There's too many. And he's like commenting and like, oh yes, this is right, but this is not right. Like the technical, our fucking ego in the fitness industry is so ridiculous. I gotta be right.
You gotta be the smartest.
I have to say this perfect.
I think they should do. I think they should punch each other in the throat in the gym.
Dude, that's already happened once.
Yeah. I think we should just start doing that now.
It's funny because I could tell a lot of people follow Jeff Nipper because I see them all with the little ankle or wrist wraps, and they're getting to the machine, and they're like, "This is optimal angle for the lat pull down." Yet people have grown lats their entire lives without this like fucking move,
damn bar.
I'm not saying he's right or wrong, but you got to be consistent at the end of the day. You got to eat properly. Maybe you need to try trend or D-ball. Hey, let's be real. How many of these guys are doing these things?
Yeah. Who was I talking to the other day? I was telling them that I was like, look, a majority of the people that you see online are like the 1% of the 1% of the 1%.
So they already have the genetics to look that way.
Yes. It's because we were talking about like height differences and stuff like that.
Hey, are you making fun of me? Is this a short joke coming in?
We were talking about.
Hey, you know how sensitive I am. Hey.
Your hair's all blue now.
I don't have hair. You're so fucked up, dude. What are you trying to call me, a crib?
I'm just digging myself deeper, man.
Yeah. You're the one wearing all blue over there.
Yeah. We were talking about our podcast with Austin. Oh, yeah. And I was telling him how, the dude's 6 something, he weighs a whole bunch more. I'm never gonna be at that level of strongman, but I could probably be.
Bro, that's because you don't try.
Yeah, and a lot of people will think stuff like that though, right? And they'll be like, oh, it's just because I need to work hard or whatever. And it's just like, no, dude, you're never gonna be at that level. And that's okay. Genetically, let's just accept that people are different, right? And that
no, boys and girls are the same.
And you should just be at your level, the best that you can be at, in that the cards you've been dealt.
Dude, I remember I got genetic tested. I just don't have athlete genes.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, cool.
And your testosterone's not there, then you're not gonna. It's so mind-boggling to me that people think there's this one process for everybody. Yet we're so unique: skin tone, our hair, our nails, personalities, right? The way we go, our environment, what food is going in our body, where do we grow up? Like, we are so unique. Why are we taking away the uniqueness of people?
I don't know.
I don't get it. But you're a big science guy. You do your workouts based off of data. Oh, I didn't wake up properly today.
I showed you a video that was about people using
data tracking.
Data trackers, right? Like the Whoop band. Have you heard of that one?
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, and like the Oral Ring.
That's what you gotta do.
So, every time. Yeah.
What'd you say? Whoop, whoop. It's like when you say Mike Jones, you say who?
Yeah, you gotta do like Lil
just
John.
To distract you.
Lil John.
Yeah. The other day we were talking to the kids, and I was like talking about music back then. Like I think in our era, it was a lot of party and fun music.
Yeah.
Like Bubba Sparks. Booty, 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 rock it everywhere.
I sing that song all the time.
Right?
I found you, Miss New Booty.
Oh, yeah. And so we were talking, and then Amanda said, who? I said, Mike Jones. And the kids all looked at me. And they were like, oh, we got to show you. So we started playing the music.
She was tagging you in. She wanted you to do the joke.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, man. That's funny.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back to data trackers. Okay.
What the fuck was I even saying? Okay. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, they were talking about how, like, and this fucking goes in with what you said earlier, too, where it's like, okay, my data tracker says that I'm extra stressed this week and my sleep hasn't been good and et cetera and blah, blah, blah. So every workout I have this week is going to be crap. Every workout I have this week is going to be bad. Oh, my data tracker says that I was really on it. And now suddenly I'm hitting my PRs and blah, blah, blah and whatever. And, the guy was like making points and stuff like that. Anecdotal, I'm sure. But he was like, I've hit PRs when I'm super hungover, Yeah. I've hit PRs when I slept 2 hours that night or whatever. And it's just like when you have all this information. Sometimes I think we have too much information, right? And it overwhelms an individual and stuff like that. Like sometimes when I'm training clients, they'll ask me like, oh, what should I be doing when I'm doing whatever? And I'm just like, look, the way that you're doing the squat right now is fine. Just keep doing it the way you're doing it, right? I'm not even going to give you any extra cues. Could I? Is there a bunch of information I could feed you about it and stuff like that? Sure. But then I'm afraid that you're just going to start overthinking every single step of your squat, And it's just like, dude, you're squatting fine. Your back looks good. You're hitting weights. Just keep squatting. Just leave it.
Yeah, dude. There's a person, she's like a very science, I have to say everything properly person. And she had these bodybuilders who were like telling her like, no, you got to be in a surplus, blah, blah. And yeah, technically you could be in a deficit, still gain muscle, or, what is really a deficit to you where you think it is may not be, maybe maintenance, and you could build muscle in the maintenance and change your body. But she was like bringing up all the science stuff and actual bodybuilders who did this. And I'm just like, you're criticizing people who are actually doing this. You look nothing like it.
Yeah.
So it just shows you like, yeah, technically you can do this, but it's a lot harder that way.
It's where she was saying that there's like a specific maintenance for muscle building, and they're like two separate things, right? Yeah.
And protein synthesis is this.
Yeah. And it's funny.
She's technically right, but she's also technically wrong, because where in society is it a perfect laboratory?
Yeah. And we were, I've been seeing a lot of videos too lately about like lifting in the 80s, right? And it's just like guys and girls in there just fucking pumping shit. You know?
I like the one where you sent me the guy's like upside down on the machine or whatever. And then he's just like, lat pull down. You got to do this for your lats. And
like exactly. Yeah. And it's like,
down.
yeah. And they're just like fucking yanking the bar down as much as and they're gigantic, right?
Yeah.
Then you see this dude who's like 150 pounds and he's like, I'm optimal lifting the lat pull down. And it's like, okay, dude, and okay, maybe, the science is like, you're getting the most lat activation or whatever and shit like that. But it's like, dude, sometimes, like you said, you just got to be fucking consistent. We've seen people get crazy gains on like the stupidest programs because they're just in the gym fucking 9 days a week, and they're just doing the shit. And
then talking about like, you're talking about doing a special lat exercise. Sometimes you build the biggest lat because you can overstimulate isometrically, and the deadlift could become a great lat exercise for you.
I think I get more sore in my like shoulder blades, lats, things like that doing a deadlift than I do on like a back day.
Oh, I thought you to say between your legs.
No, it's something else.
Okay. That's not what Camille said.
That's a Tuesday night. Oh shit, today's Tuesday. Fuck.
Shit. But it just goes on and on and on. And you see these like science-based people. This is science. And I love science.
Yeah. And I feel like, not to put us in a tribe or anything, but it's like, I do like that stuff. I read about it. I learn about it. I think it's important. I think it's information. But also sometimes you just got to go in and fucking do the lifts.
Then you got to use anecdotes too.
Yeah.
You cannot just go based off of science, because science lies too. People don't realize we're human. There's biases all the time when it comes to science. The milk and dairy industry. What was the one where they talked about saturated fats being? He picked 7 countries. Oh, yeah. Right? And he took out all these other things out of the study so that he could prove his point. Yeah. Humans are horrible people.
I mean, yeah.
We have ego. Yeah. The problem is ego and the ability to like be scared and fear.
And like self-interest.
And scared to lose money and instead of doing right for people. And I think that's the number one problem. And we had a conversation off the podcast, and we're not going to talk about it very much. But people will back off or back up whoever they feel like they need to back up. Yeah. Even though it sounds crazy and the truth is something else.
Yeah, especially, I mean, we see it in the fitness space at least, right? Like we can talk about that for sure. How many people in fucking Joel's comment space, if I went in there and was like, this is stupid, I'm going to get 800 comments.
This saved my life 90 degrees.
Yeah. And it's like, you don't even fucking know this guy. Yeah. Why do you give 2 shits about it? You know? And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Suck a cock, bro.
Yeah, we are on one today.
We are. I think all y'all should suck cocks out there.
Yeah, that's going to be the new Strength Solutions fan names, cocksuckers.
We suck cock daily. Okay. Canceled.
Dude.
No, it's not on here, but I really want to talk about, I sent you something, and it was talking about like a lot of women's movies.
Okay.
Being romanticized about cheating.
Oh man, I got a lot to say
about
this.
The Notebook is one of them.
I've never seen The Notebook.
So like she's with a great guy and she ends up with another guy.
Isn't that movie about like time travel?
No? We'll talk about this when you watch it. Anyways, it's about cheating, right? And then there's other concepts. It's a form of cheating, right? Like you're with somebody, like you wait 7 years and then you get back to
cheating. Okay. Yeah. So, I have a good point about this because I've been watching 2 different series that involve the same thing.
Bro, you have time to watch TV?
Not anymore, bro. This is like at the beginning.
Yeah. With all that flooring you be doing.
Yeah. Dude, I've had no fucking time for anything. That's just
you love looking insane. At the floor, apparently.
Yeah. Dude, we're going on week 3 of trying to put that shit in. It's not hard, but it is fucking time consuming. Yeah. Oh my God. Anyway, so we were watching 2 shows. Okay. So there's one called The Vampire Diaries. I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
Do they suck blood?
They do. They do suck blood. Yeah. They also suck cock.
I didn't see that one coming. Did they get the blood out of the cock?
Yeah, that's where it comes out of. And Twilight. Have you ever seen Twilight?
Yep, I've seen Twilight.
Okay, have you seen all of it?
I've seen every single one.
Okay, I think I've seen the first 3. I haven't seen like the last like 2-parter series.
Watch the last one. Amanda gets pissed.
Okay, yeah.
You'll see why.
I'm going to go on a tangent here and just say that Twilight is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Like just in terms of just seeing a movie, it's so bad that it's like hilarious. It's,
like she's playing 2 guys.
It's got, yes. Okay. So let me talk about the Vampire Diaries specifically.
Okay.
So I'm not even going to go into the story or anything like that, but the basic concept of this is that there's one girl who's being pursued by 2 brothers. Mm-hmm. Okay. And one of the brothers is like the badass, like doesn't take shit, rebel guy, you know, like,
that's the guy I want to be.
And then the other guy's like, I'm the sensitive, you know, like
he's the Nathaniel.
I care about you, like blah, 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 you know, and I was laughing as we're watching it. 'Cause I was just like, you know, even if I didn't know shit about the show or anything, I could sit here and say this was written by a woman. 'Cause like, this is a female fantasy. You know, where it's like, oh, I need the best of both worlds. And she's going between this guy and then she's back with this guy and blah, blah, blah. And it's like this whole thing. And I was like, this is what women want. And I'm sitting there watching it. And I say this like as a joke, but also it's not a joke. And I was like, we're watching porn right now. This is porn for women. Porn. This is, you know, Twilight is fucking porn for girls because it's different, right? It's just emotional. Well, it's about the cheese.
Amanda reads those books, so yes.
Yeah, like the little smut books, right?
The knight with shining armor.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming to save the day. He's the hero.
Yeah, and then but there's also the bad guy, and I fuck them both all the time, and I can't figure out which one I want, and you know, I just want them both. And
sounds like you've been in a fantasy.
And I was like,
you've been playing Dungeons and Dragons.
yeah, dude, yeah, for real. And it's like that shit gets silly too, and it's like, we're watching porn and it's acceptable because it's not them fucking on screen, but it is the same shit, you know? And I was
that's why romance novels make more money than actually pornography.
Yeah. And I was like, if we were just sitting here watching 2 people fuck on screen, it would be the same thing, but for me, you know what I mean? And I was like, it's just the male and the female version. And for whatever reason, we just accept the female version because it's like, I don't know, more tasteful and palatable or whatever.
I mean, think about I think it's I can't even think about the movie, but there's one where Scarlett Johansson is sleeping with Bradley Cooper. There's there's a bunch of different scenarios, but they had different romance within the movie. I can't remember what it's called, but I was thinking to myself, like, Bradley Cooper is cheating on his wife, and Scarlett Johansson knows that he's cheating on his wife, and it's like romanticized. And the wife can't decide if she wants to keep him or this relationship's worth it. And then on the other one, then you have the nice guy with the girl that Drew Barrymore's character. That's a nice girl on the other side, and they get together and they meet at the very end. And
I don't know why we like romanticize this stuff, you know. And it's like, is this what people really want? You know, like, do we find it exciting?
I think it's an American thing.
Oh, true. That's true too.
It's probably an American thing that we romanticize cheating
culturally, right? Yeah,
we talk about cheating all the time.
Yeah, dude. I listen to the radio a lot, and like the morning show is just like, oh, this person cheated on them, and blah blah blah, and oh, do you girls think that, you know? And it's just like, I'm like, damn, dude, this is all this is about. Ooh, and it gets views, you know, like people love it.
Bro, you know how like all on TikTok we talk about alpha male, this guy's gonna cheat, or she says she's just a friend or whatever, and like it's all big on TikTok.
Yeah,
I was like, that hasn't changed in forever. There's a song by Biz Markie called "Just a Friend."
Yeah,
and we were listening to it yesterday, and because we're showing the kids old music,
right? Yeah,
and I was like, dang, it's the same message all the time. Guys, beware of girls who have guy best friends.
And like vice versa, right? You could say the same thing. I'm just not going to be here and be like, but it's like, it's just the same shit over and over and over. Yeah. Nothing's changed. Life is, and like we even know too, you know, like as you get older, it stays the same, bro. Nothing ever changes. People are just people, man.
We're all animals at the end of the day. We act like we're better than other animals.
We're not. We're not. I'm sorry, we keep going on a tangent, but I was talking to a friend the other day.
Well, you have friends outside of me? What's going on?
Yeah. And she was telling me that she was like having some like issues with stuff like that. And I was like, just start telling people that you have a girlfriend. I was like, just start saying that. And she was like, what? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, shouldn't I say I have a boyfriend? And I was like, no. And I was like, because if you tell people that you have a boyfriend, it's going to like ignite their competition. And they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to try harder because I could steal it from this guy,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm going to, because now this
genius.
This is
from a guy's perspective.
Yeah. And I was like, don't do it. I was like, say you have a girlfriend because, and I was like, look, you're still going to get the guys that are going to be like, well, I could change you. Like, you just haven't had good D or whatever. And
Which
I was
is pretty true.
And I was like, you can't change everybody. Right. And I was like, but if you do that, it instantly takes away the competitional aspect of it.
It'll take out probably 90% of the guys.
Yeah.
At least that would keep on
because I think we talked about it for a second, like a long time ago, where they've done studies on guys who watch like lesbian porn and their testosterone levels are lower because there's
guys prefer to watch gangbangs because of the competition.
Because there's no competition, and it like doesn't ignite your testosterone in the same way of being like, oh no, I'm gonna be the best one, you know, like. And
there's a lot of things in competition too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in a gangbang too, like the first guy who comes, the next guy comes, because it's a competition thing afterwards.
And it's not gonna happen until someone bows out, right? Yeah. And it's the same. I mean, you see it in like other competitions between men and stuff like that. And I was like, this is why you gotta do it. This is why I'm telling you that you need to say you have a girlfriend.
Dude, that's
like,
genius. Good advice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Camille taught me that because she was like, whenever we used to go out and stuff like that, like I would just say like, oh, I'm with my girlfriend here. And guys would just be like, oh, never mind. You know, let's just have fun, like blah, blah. Instantly they're done. They're not even trying anymore. But it's like, I've told Camille a million times where I'm like, dude, you tell people that you have a boyfriend, they're not going to give two shits, man.
Yeah.
No one cares. Because if anything, it just makes it.
It's just like you saying you have a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How many girls go after married men?
Oh,
there's even studies where women prefer married men because they know they're better at sex because they're not as selfish.
Take it back to the movies we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, that's what it's about. It's about stealing guys from their wives.
It's all competition.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, you know, animals.
All right, we'll go to studies. We'll go off our rant here. So the first study is about how chemical reactions deplete nutrients in plant-based drinks. A new study of plant-based drinks reveals common issue. They are lacking proteins and essential amino acids compared to cow's milk.
Interesting.
You like how I'm reading it now? The explanation lies in their extensive processing, causing chemical reactions that degrade protein quality in product and in some cases produce new substances of concern.
Oh, wow.
So people don't realize complete protein, the reason why whey does better as a protein supplement is because there's less processing.
Mm.
It's literally, you take it out and you're good.
It's right there.
Now with plant-based, they have to mix different plants to make a complete protein.
Yeah.
And so depending how it's done, there could be metals found. Like I remember at one point there was a lot of metals found in one because they were mixed the way they were mixing it. There's also chemical reactions happening because you have to bind these together. So you may lose nutrients on this end and gain nutrients that you don't want or
just not needed
or not needed stuff.
That's interesting, man. Yeah. Cause I remember, so like I've experimented with a lot of plant protein, supplements and also whey protein supplements. Now I found that even though I'm lactose intolerant, I can tolerate a whey protein for a little while before it starts to bother me. But even then, I feel better drinking a whey protein than I did drinking a plant-based protein. Like, even though it didn't...
It's crazy. I felt the same thing.
Yeah, even though it didn't affect my gut in the same way, obviously, like, I wasn't shit my brains out or whatever, but I just, like, I still didn't feel good. Mm-hmm. I still didn't feel like at this point, I just don't take protein supplements at all because I just don't think they're for me, honestly. But it's like, I didn't really find any difference in... You know what they call that? What?
A guy from the wuss market.
Yeah. Being like,
where'd you find him? Did he's in the wuss market?
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. I don't fucking do him anymore because I'm just like tired of fucking around with it. But yeah, I mean,
so what do you do to supplement instead? Do you get like beef jerky?
For protein? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I just fucking eat. I mean, like I eat a lot of protein anyway. Like,
you love meat in that mouth. Huh?
You know what I have been doing is creatine. I've been doing creatine really, really consistently. And bro, I've seen a pretty significant change in like my strength and performance. Yeah, just by being really, really consistent with it. This is the most consistent I've been with it.
Crazy because it's just water that you're filling up with. So it makes you more connected.
Yeah. And it's like you can maybe do 1 or 2 more reps or whatever. But it's like, dude, when I'm in, I find it mostly when I'm fatigued. So like if I'm fatigued and I'm pushing those last like 2 reps, I still feel like I have like, I can drive it all the way through, you know, without failing. And so that's honestly just fucking trying to eat the food and do whatever. Cause otherwise I just don't feel like it helps, you know?
That's what happens when you get out of the WIS market.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Actually start lifting weights. Yeah. Wow. Good for you.
Second study, more dense populated neighborhoods inspire people to walk. The study showed that strong connection between place and activity by studying about 11,000 twins, which are controlled for family influences and genetic factors. The researchers found that 1% increase in area of walkable resulted in 0.42% increase in neighborhood walking. When scaled up, that means 55% increase in a walkable of the surrounding neighborhood would result in 23% more walking, or about 19 minutes a week for every resident living in an area like that.
You know what's funny?
It makes sense.
Yeah, because I can even just take this example here in San Antonio, right? So it's like we live in a neighborhood that's kind of far out. Yeah, there's, businesses and things like that, but you don't really, people will walk and stuff like that, but it's different when you go like downtown. I'm just gonna park my car and we'll just fucking walk everywhere. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
It's psychological.
Yeah. It's almost kind of like fun, because you're walking around, there's people everywhere and
there's a business here, business
there's
there,
a social aspect to it. It's like different. It's like a novel.
Go to New York versus New York and Mexico City versus here in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody walks in Texas.
That's why we like our tacos.
And, San Antonio is a highly populated city, but it's not dense, right? It's super spread out and wide. And so there's not that, I don't know.
Are you calling San Antonio fat?
Yeah.
I'm going to call you Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Charles
San Antonio. I can't do a Charles Barkley impression.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's pretty good.
I don't know. I tried.
There you go.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That's a different person.
Oh, that's Bill.
Yeah, Bill. Oops.
Did you know there's two people in that picture?
What picture?
Where he's sitting behind the desk.
You're so stupid. I haven't heard that joke in a long time.
All right. So we'll go to the fitness questions. We only have 3 today. First one is, what are the best ways for someone who is about to start their fitness goals in 2025? I personally do not have any experience. So start small.
Yes.
Pick one thing. Also, don't go from 0 days to 5 days.
Yeah, I would say, like
Choose
you said,
1 or 2.
Pick a small thing and then make it even smaller, and then maybe try that one. Yeah.
It could be as simple as I'm going to get my water every day, at least a full gallon worth.
Yeah, and it's like practice that for the whole month and just do that.
And I'm going to go to the gym for 30 minutes a week.
Beautiful. And it's like, because if you can do that, then you have the ability, because now you've built a foundation, and then you build upon that foundation, then you build a bigger foundation. Then once all that's built, then you can start building on top of that, right? But it's like, you can't just go and be like, all right, I'm going to build a house. It doesn't work like that, right? And so you got to start extremely little and then go from there, especially if you have no experience.
And if you go from all or nothing, you're doing it during the time of the year where people get sick at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And you may create too much stress and then you end up sick. And then 2, doing all or nothing mentality actually sets you up for failure. And then it gives you an excuse of why it didn't work.
Yeah. Wow. Good one.
Thank you. I'm here for another 30 minutes. Okay. Question number 2. I want to build better shoulders. What are lifts that will help me get bigger shoulders?
Fucking
bulge your shoulder, baby.
Military press. Fucking shoulder press that bitch.
Military shoulder, overhead.
Yeah.
So
dumbbell.
I really think, I don't know, Coach Jeff Niver, you need the wrist.
Actually, we
wrist
need to be
bracelet.
optimal about it.
You gotta be so optimal, bro. God, this episode. But at the end of the day, you need consistency. And 2, think about your body percent fat. You do need to build muscle, but if you don't have a good rear delt that cuts into the arm, it's not going to show the shoulders. So doing some rear delt exercises, I think it's the most neglected today. I think a lot of people got interior delts, but they don't got rear delts.
Right.
And then as you drop body percent fat, I'm pretty sure your shoulders will look better.
Yeah.
Which will make your arms actually look better.
I think a lot of it too is about the perception of it, right? Like how it looks. So I think you're right. Like rear delt for sure. I think even working the traps helps build like a bigger upper body, right? Like to where it looks broader. And those are really good ones. And just making sure that you're getting enough volume through the shoulders. Don't do a chest and tricep day and do like one shoulder exercise, right? Like you gotta actually focus it.
So if I was doing a full body routine like our Amplify, I would start with the shoulder exercise.
Yeah. Switch the squat or the bench or whatever and start with that so that you can be the freshest, you can get the most out of the lift, and not doing it way at the end when you're only able to lift a percentage of what you could have done before.
And then if I was doing my amp sessions or amp 2.0s like intensity, I would literally focus shoulders mostly to get the frequency for your shoulder.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some banded pull aparts for the rear delts, external rotation,
some banded lat raises.
Yeah, which is hard as hell, by the way.
Nah, it's simple. Talking to the weak person who just came out of the wuss market.
There you go. Yeah.
Where'd you get this guy at the wuss market? So yeah, just frequency, intensity, knowing what order to put it in. Maybe you need to learn how to activate better on your shoulders.
Yeah.
And maybe get a better warm-up routine. That could be another thing. Yeah. All right. Last one, is whey protein better than plant-based protein supplements?
We kind of talked about this.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
If you can digest it.
Yes.
The other thing I want to say about this is I don't understand why we give meat and dairy such a bad example, and eggs, when plant-based people are trying to copy these things in the burger, the plant-based egg, and all that stuff. Why would you copy these elements if plant-based is really better?
Yeah, that is.
And how come we can't talk about our history where if we're really up north, there's not a lot of vegetation, right? Like Eskimos, Vikings, they didn't have a lot of vegetables, but yet they were the biggest, tallest individuals, usually pretty strong, and they mostly ate fish and meat.
I wonder why we try to continue pushing the rhetoric of like plant-based is the way to go. Like never in human history have we been plant-based.
The more plant-based, the more sick people are. Because there's been like female doctors who get like women like so stuck on plant-based. She's like, can you just eat one day of red meat or one meal? And all of a sudden they start feeling better.
It's fucking crazy, dude. Like, whatever.
I'm not against it. If you want to do plant-based,
I'm not against it either. Yeah.
But understand everybody has limitations. And it's because they're subsidizing corn and soy so much and they're getting you sicker. And then the big farmer, they're like working all together. I wish they would just subsidize meat a little bit, make it cheaper, and eggs, make it cheaper. Bro,
because then people would build muscle and
healthy.
Yeah.
It's crazy because all bodybuilders talk about is eggs and red meat. And it's crazy. They're huge. I'm not saying they're the healthiest because at a certain point it's too extreme. Sure. And that has to do more with the trend and D-ball and all that stuff. Right?
Yeah, because you could also go too extreme on the plant-based stuff. It's like you got to just fucking just
I don't think people realize human are balanced.
Yeah.
That's like there's even like for longevity, right? I could get too much into my work, but then I don't work at all. Then I could die. That's bad for you too.
Yeah.
Like we're balanced creatures. Why are we so extreme mentally?
I don't know.
Maybe we need to suck more cock. And that's the way we're going to end it right there. Sucking more cock.
Let's fucking go.
All right, guys. If y'all enjoy what we're doing, we're on Apple and Spotify. You can rate and review us. Then check us out on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe, and tell Nathaniel that he's mean because he's throwing around this hair. Then, if you're looking for a place to email us future fitness questions, the strengthsolutionspodcast.com or at gmail.com. Website, strengthsolutionspodcast.com. There we got free blogs, free guides, and programs for purchase. Then our social media, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, Strength Solutions Podcast. I'm Strength Solutions Edwin.
I'm Strength Solutions Nathaniel.
Peace. Deuces.